The third type of awareness that is needed is awareness accompanying the position or movement of one's arm or hand. Perhaps it's simplest to start by executing some simple movement. So, for example, just moving the arm up and down, up, 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 and paying the closest possible attention to the feeling in one's arm as this takes place. Perhaps it's better even to do it more slowly and deliberately. Now we have the three elements of awareness. Obviously, one can't achieve this awareness whilst you can't achieve this awareness whilst you're listening to me. And it's something you will just simply have to try for yourself. As I say, the awareness is the internal speech sound, particular speech sound, the awareness of a particular position in one's head, a bright light, a star, and the awareness of the arm or hand as they're moved in some simple way. Now what we have to do is to transfer the awareness of position within one's head to the speech sound. So to speak, move the speech sound to coincide with a bright light, imagine bright light or star. This isn't perhaps with a practice as hard as one thinks. If you take the speech sound, be aware of that, and then bright light or star, and imagine the speech sound located where the star or bright light is in your imagination, and that is the effect one wants to achieve. Now we've had three types of awareness that are needed. I now come on to what I've described as the two operations. The first operation is really eliminating, blanking out the specific awareness of the sound, specific awareness of the bright light or star. The second operation is to move one's focus of attention from the position in which the speech sound was located to the arm. Now, how does one achieve this blanking out? Assume that you have in your mind at the moment, or in due course, a particular speech sound, ah, that you manage to locate it, so to speak, at the point where there was a bright star, bright light in your head. Leaving that sound in that position, one way of achieving blanking out is to rely again on counting, mental counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. Eventually, you'll find that you achieve this blanking out. When you have achieved the state of blanking out, the next operation is to move the center of awareness down to your hand and arm. Now, I will myself try and achieve these three types and perform the two operations. And this is, you will see, is how I arrive at a particular relation of speech sound and arm position or movement. The sound I'm going to take is ah. I think of ah in my head. I then think of the position of a bright light or star. I move the speech sound to where the bright light or star is located. I then start the blanking out operation. And then, by transferring my attention from the center of awareness, where the speech sound, so to speak, was, to my arm, and keeping the mind as blank as possible, one finds the arm moves to the position for A, as already explained in the earlier parts of this talk. One can then do the same for all the other letters and see how far the movements or positions which follow from this process resemble those set out in the earlier part of this talk as being the systematic relation of speech sounds and arm positions or movements. How else could one acquire awareness of the arm movements or positions accompanying speech sounds? Well, another way is to take some simple word like pat, or hit, or put, or touch. To perform the action associated with that word, such as hit, slow down the action and pay careful attention now, have awareness of the arm position and movement throughout the action. At the same time, hearing the sound of the word which refers to the action. So, hit, 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 hit. One will find that the saying of the word, the different elements in the word correspond to different phases in the action. Obviously, there's the beginning of the word and the beginning of the action. There's the end of the word and the end of the action. And then there's the middle of the word and the middle of the action. So, hit, 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 hit. Now, if one looks closely at those initial positions, the initial position, the final position, and the middle position, one is looking at elements of correspondence between sound and arm position or movement. In fact, these elements have correspond fairly closely to the system of relations between speech sounds and arm movements, which I've been trying to explain in this talk. Similarly, for, say, touch, 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 touch. Put, for example, put, put.